The latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're
Top of the
moving
morning,
out.
Dan and Amy. So that theme music means it's time for our weekly conversation with Ted Dabrowski, president of Wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Before we get to Ted, the letters pouring in for one former House Speaker, Mike Madigan, the longest-serving state House Speaker in the history of America. 250 letters have been sent to the judge who will mete out Mike Madigan's sentence after being convicted on corruption charges. John Blakey is his name. Feds want 12 and a half years and $1.5 million fine. Madigan wants no prison time and 5 months probation and a reasonable fine. Former Attorney General Lisa Madigan, Daddy's little girl. In a city where people used to talk about having parking tickets fixed, I learned from Mike that I was expected to follow the law, either feed the meter or pay the parking tickets.
Wow. Her civic duty, it's impressive.
He instilled in his children the same life lessons he lived under himself. Get as much education as possible, work hard, help others, and be honest and scrupulously ethical. Honest and scrupulously ethical. Those are adjectives that are being used to describe Mike Madigan by his little girl, Lisa, who's now got a phony baloney job at Kirkland and Ellis because big law is in bed with big government, particularly in this city. I know Mike Madigan would never intentionally commit a crime. He is the consummate rule follower, she continued.
Oh.
Punishing him for trying to help people, something we are all taught to do, that is the true injustice.
And this is a former attorney general of the state of Illinois.
She's his daughter first.
Oh,
well, as we saw when she was attorney general, turning a blind eye to all this. He is a political prisoner, Mike Madigan.
So he's the victim. No, that's how they're framing this.
He is Nelson Mandela.
Oh, yeah, right. A real hero. What has he done for Illinois?
He's made it better. Jim Edgar, that's not me saying it. That's no less a Republican governor, former Republican governor, Jim Edgar, who, up until about 5 minutes ago, the Republican Party in this state has tried to get to run for every available office when there was an opening because they do such a great job being diligent candidate recruitment, doing candidate recruitment and professional development. Anyway, I digress. Mike made mistakes, as we all did in our professional careers. Who among us? Let he cast the first stone. Mike made mistakes, as we all did in our professional careers, but he did far more good in making the state a better place to live. Bill Lipinski served in Congress for 2 decades. Mr. Integrity.
That's what they call Madigan.
That's what he calls Mike Madigan.
Mr. Integrity? Okay.
Mr. Integrity.
I'll make a T-shirt now. Mike Madigan, Mr. Integrity.
Jerry Reinsdorf vouched for Madigan's, quote, character and his lifetime commitment to improving the lives of all Illinoisans. He has improved the lives of all Illinoisans in much the same way Ed Brooke improved the lives of all Chicagoans, in much the same way that Father Flager has improved the lives of all the St. Sabina parishioners. Institutions! But that's how it is here in Illinois, as we know. All of these individuals who sent letters on behalf of Madigan, more or less the same list that sent letters last June on behalf of Ed Burke before he was sentenced. repeat with me, won't you? They are dedicated public servants who work tirelessly to improve the lives of all Illinoisans who, like anyone, made mistakes, but those mistakes are far overshadowed by all they did to make this state a better place to live. You may not like how they did it, but at the end of the day, after 50 years, you look back and you say,
Thank you,
exactly,
Mr. Madigan.
Thank you, Mr. Integrity, to you, young lady.
Excuse me.
It's really something to behold, isn't it?
Well, they're trying to get out of the 12-and-a-half-year sentence that the feds want.
I'm talking about the letter writers.
Oh, yeah, the letter writers, yes. You're seeing a different, softer side, a lying side of them.
As we discussed earlier in the program, the same old ruse. It's not the Ed Burke I knew. It's not the Mike Madigan I knew. That was not my experience. Ted Dabrowski joins us now. Ted, thanks for joining us. You were in and around policy during the latter portion of the Madigan hegemony. The Mike Madigan you knew, did you submit a character letter?
It's funny. I should have submitted a character letter. I think a lot of government misses him because they don't like the chaos that's out there without Madigan. They don't like the budget process is much more difficult. Things made sense for them under Madigan. The power structure was more clear. He kept order, and now all these guys miss him. And they probably can't leverage the machine in the same way that they used to be able to under Madigan. It's just a little more difficult with Pritzker and Welch and Harmon and these guys. So it's unbelievable. And, what's interesting about all these letters, it would be something else if Madigan had made Illinois a better place to live. But, if you look at every statistic for Illinois, it's a much worse place to live. So, not only did he do all his harms, but he didn't make Illinois better. He made it worse.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just the Jim Edgar, and just what it says, to borrow a Cassism, what it says about the bipartisan combine in this state that sort of persists. You read that, and if you're just a workaday Illinoisan who pays passing attention to this and you see this, and you're sort of disgusted and maybe you're checked out because there doesn't seem to be any opposition party, or that they all seem to be sort of in on the scams that you're cut out of. And you just look at that and you say, what? You just have to say, I would think you would just say, what is the point? This is a grifter class, and there's nobody out there that seemingly wants to do anything about it. They just sort of cover each other and lather on the lies as necessary. It's part of that covering for one another. Kept his word, Mr. Integrity, worked tirelessly to make life better. Burke, Madigan, everybody. And the same with these Republican legislative leaders and party poobahs over the years. It is just such a den of thieves. I don't want any part of it. That's what I think a lot of Illinoisans think.
Well, I think there's two sides. I think there's a lot of Illinois who think that, and those are the many who actually left Illinois, right? They're living in Florida and in Texas and Tennessee. There's a whole bunch of those who know that, smell that. It's obvious to them. But then there's that other class of people who don't really pay attention, who don't care. And trust me, when I'm out there, I see it all the time. They listen to what NBC5 is reporting. Okay, that they listen to these letters. They hear the message. And they don't know the depth of it. They know just the headlines, and they're going to buy into it. And just like schools are okay, and graduation rates are at all-time highs, Madigan wasn't such a bad guy. He's actually an honorable guy, and this is what kind of perpetuates. And this is why I hold so much of the media, accountable, is that they perpetuate the lies, and they do a great job of doing it. And this is why we are where we are. And we have this kind of weird split: people who leave, and then the other half who participate in this in some way and keep it going.
This year's budget, it's exciting. It's not perfect. Some mistakes were made. but it does right by the people of Illinois to make this a better place for people to live, just like Mike Madigan used to do, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's what you were talking about earlier. It's the same old, hey, good intentions. We're going to do more and more. We're going to get more people on Medicaid. We're going to spend more on education. Those pensions need to be bigger. It just goes on, and it's fascinating how we're on a roll right now. And this is Pritzker's 7th budget, and it just does more and more and more. Path stays the same. Nothing changes. More taxes, more spending, and when you look at the final stats of where Illinois is, it's pathetic. And how we perpetuate this as voters, as citizens, it's sad. And at some point we have to figure out that less is more. But right now, more is more.
Yeah, but didn't they cram in everything with only 24 hours for Republicans to read the 3,500-page bill? Same old bull jive.
Yeah, same old thing. Yeah, exactly. No, there's no difference. So, yeah, everybody knows what's coming. It's going to be more spending, more tax hikes, and we have to figure out what actually happened. And I tell you, what's interesting about this budget than all the previous ones I've worked on is that nobody still quite knows what's been passed.
I know I know they got a 7,000. The legislators gave themselves a $7,000 pay raise to kick their salaries up to $98,000 for a part-time job, which isn't terrible.
Yeah, that part's clear. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of not bad reporting. Nobody knows what to report. So people are reporting the wrong things about what actually happened. So we're still peeling back the onions. But yeah, the raise there for lawmakers kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Well, we're going to have to pay higher taxes for hair, nails, massages, facials, Botox, waxings.
Yeah, well,
door deliveries, FedEx, not food, but FedEx, Amazon.
You rich honkies pay your fair share.
No. But people are just waking up to this. That's the problem.
Geez. They're not waking up to anything. That's the problem.
And we've still got more to come, right? Because they haven't figured out what to do with this whole mess with Metra and CTA. You're talking about, I don't know, $1 billion, $2 billion more taxes coming as well. So it's just a matter of how they negotiate it between themselves.
Well, that's because of the bad old Trump administration. They were supposed to get $1 billion bailout of CTA, which nobody rides for all sorts of obvious reasons, and also they needed more money to provide
funding for abortion and for healthcare for illegals.
Yeah, for illegal immigrants for sure. They couldn't sustain that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, that's another interesting one. I love how the press is reporting how Governor Pritzker's cut this healthcare spending for illegal immigrants. We're going to save $300 million by cutting it back on those younger than 65. What they don't say is that they continue to provide health care for illegal immigrants who are older than 65. And so we continue to. And by the way, they canceled a $50 million property tax relief fund. So we continue to prioritize illegal immigrants over everyday Illinois.
$50 million property tax relief fund. That's funny.
And that's a joke.
That's funny. Yeah. Who's that going to? Pritzker? Because of the toilet thing?
Exactly.
$65 million to promote electronic vehicles. $21 million for abortion programs. $39 million for services for illegal immigrants, and $87.8 million for DEI initiatives. I thought we were supposed to stop with all these DEI initiatives.
I haven't seen that one yet. We have to look at that.
Yeah, this is.
I like the Bookie Reemployment Act too, increasing taxes on DraftKings and other online gambling
25
outlets, and so that's going to put your neighborhood bookie back in business. He's going to be able to be competitive, and so that's a good thing. That's a job creator.
Well, yeah. Well, this is another big negative of this budget. Again, is they're going after sin taxes. They're going after the poor guy who smokes and vapes or whatever he does, and who gambles. So more sin taxes to balance the budget. That's been one of the big outcomes of the last 3 or 4 years is go after the sin taxes to balance.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if they could start taxing the air we breathe. That's the only thing I can think of next.
So I wonder if there is a like the equivalent of a sugar tax in here, if people ever get wise to it. I don't know. This half of this electorate is so completely lobotomized. I don't know that anything registers, but this $1.50 environmental impact fee on every delivery by a vehicle, the retailer shall not add the fee to the price or charge for the retail delivery showing the total fee as a charge that is separate and distinct from the price and any other taxes or fees imposed on the retail delivery. Okay. So anyway, this little surcharge, environmental impact fee. That's fun. This little surcharge on all your on deliveries, and whether or not that if that registered, I don't know. Even though it's $1.50, like I said, it's like the sugar tax. Maybe something like that sparks a revolt because people, get food and everything they purchase now delivered.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it should. They're calling it the pizza. They're trying to call it the pizza tax, right? One side's calling it the environmental impact fee, and the other side's trying to call it what it really is, right? The pizza tax, and and all the stuff that you get delivered. I think it's pretty phenomenal. $1.50 per, and you've got people doing all kinds of orders these days. It's not. Again, it's not insignificant. People try to blow it off as $1.50, but you got to just add all these taxes up, right? It's all the nickel and diming that is what eventually might tick people off, and it does. This is why a lot of people leave. They kind of add it all up, but many people can't.
I mean, obviously, we don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. But do you think this will resonate on a higher scale as Pritzker tries to become our next president?
Well, I think it will, and I think you got to point this out. It's interesting that he went after this sports betting, but that hit the stocks of these companies, because now Wall Street's wondering whether other states are going to go after sports betting, and so this is the kind of leadership that Pritzker's providing, right? How to mess things up a little bit more nationwide, not just in Illinois.
Yeah. Don't gamble, but please gamble. Don't gamble your mortgage payment, but please do, because we've already budgeted for and spent the money we expect to realize from you gambling.
Yeah, don't smoke and don't take those pouches. Yeah, but smoke. We need you to smoke. We need you to
don't drink, but drink.
Suck on those Zyn patches or whatever they're called.
It's enlightened. It's forward-looking. It's progressive. It's wonderful. It's equitable. It's all of those things. All of those beautiful lies that we tell each other and then get regurgitated back to us by Jim Edgar. Ted Dabrowski, President, Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Can you afford not to have effective video surveillance? Is your outdoor inventory at risk? Theft and vandalism can hit your bottom line hard. Stop these events before they happen. Monitor your business 24/7 with alarm detection systems. We prevent crime with live operators watching video alerts, ensuring your assets and employees are secure. It's not worth the liability when you can effectively protect what matters most. Call ADS at 1-630-844-6322 or visit adsalarm.com for a free demo. Alarm license number 127000143. Spending too much on security guards to patrol your property? With rising crime rates, guards may not be enough. And the cost, it's adding up fast. At Alarm Detection Systems, we offer a more innovative solution. Live video monitoring. Cameras provide extra coverage in even the hardest to reach areas. Unlike guards, they never get intimidated. Our operators watch video alerts in real time, cut costs, increase coverage,